If you have to burn it all to the ground, let it fucking burn. If you've been feeling stuck, unaligned, almost like you're being squeezed into a box, then it might be time to burn your life to the ground. Now, this is not just destruction, but it's also an initiation into the new version of you and the new life that you want to create. How do I know this? Because I just went through it. Hi guys, long time no see. The last time I came on YouTube, I was severely depressed and my life was falling apart and I had no idea why, and I was trying to trust God, but I was really going through it, and now I feel like I'm in a better place. I went through the phases, and now I can teach you guys the art of reinvention. So I'm going to show you guys basically the 4 phases of full reinvention, starting with the first phase, which is the burning phase. Now, the burning phase a lot of times is not our choice, but it can be our choice if we catch it early enough. For example, I got the signs to leave a relationship of mine, like basically the first month in, and I decided not to. So what did that cause me? A lot of heartbreak, a lot of stress, a thyroid problem, and mental health issues. There's really only one person to blame. Yes, he was a piece of shit, but also I stayed and I was responsible for that. But the thing is that God is so good, so freaking good, that he's not going to allow you to stay in something permanently that is not for you. He will let you withstand what you need to, and he will give you the signs, hoping that you actually follow those signs. But if you're just really not following the signs, he will rip it from you. So a lot of times the burning phase actually happens without us really doing anything. I do think it is God and the archangels and whoever the else stepping in and being like, all right, this girl's literally not listening to us, so we have to start making moves for her. And that sometimes looks like somebody leaving you in your relationship. That looks like the job firing you. That looks like a housing situation falling apart, whether you get the lease, you don't get the lease, they decide to, I don't know, burn the fucking building down and you have to move. It normally looks like something outside of your control that is forcing you to change. Now, if you're lucky enough to actually catch your inauthenticity before everything just falls to shit, then you're in luck, because I'm going to show you the signs that your life needs to be burned down before God comes in and burns it for you. Starting with number 1, you feel drained, not invigorated. Anything around you that is draining your energy is telling you that something is not aligned. I explained this in my TikTok video. If you're moving through life as if you have gum stuck to your shoes, and it is just so hard to go hang out with that person, it is so hard to go to that job, something is not aligned and it's time to reevaluate. You need to ask yourself what value you're actually getting out of the situation. And not in a transactional way, but if you are giving your all to a friendship, you are supportive, you're texting back, you're checking in, you know, you're helping them when their car breaks down, you're helping them when they get surgery, and the minute that you call and if you need something, nobody shows up for you, nobody's asking you, you know, what's going on in your life, how you are, how your mental health is, something's not right and something's not aligned. Now, your romantic partner is hands down the most important decision that you make in your life. I really do think it's a make or break situation. If you are with a man who is constantly tearing you down, he's constantly belittling you, you don't have a support system, he's removed you from whatever support system you might have had, that is a huge problem. Your partner, the person who spends the most time with you, who has the most access to your energy, should be your number 1 fan. They should be the most supportive person in your life. And if they are not the right person. I don't care what trauma they went through. I don't care what they have going on. If they are not showing up for you in every single way imaginable, they are not for you, and you need to get rid of them because they will break your spirit, and love is not worth your life. I heard that in a rap song. Now, jobs are a little bit tricky because I understand that some people have to work certain jobs because they're in certain situations, whether they have a toxic home life, they're in an abusive relationship, and they just need quick money to get out. Very cognizant and aware of what goes on in society, especially coming from the industry I came from and seeing where a lot of these girls come from and understanding, okay, like, I get it. It's not all just like, I want a Birkin bag. I think if you are in a job that is completely breaking your spirit, going into the office is literally, you would rather just like tie a cinder block to your freaking feet and jump in the ocean. And you're not gaining any skills out of it. I think that's the most important thing. Sometimes we have to sacrifice and do what we have to do to get by temporarily, and that's okay. But if we are really dreading everything and we're not even getting value out of that job, we're not learning new skills, we're not meeting new people, we're not making connections, we're not traveling anywhere where we see a new perspective, we're not learning anything, then that's just a deadbeat job. And there's so many deadbeat jobs that I see people in, and just how draining, and how they don't, some of them don't even do anything. It's stuff like that that's like, if you're gonna show up for something, even if it's not your dream job and your ideal reality, at least be gaining a skill that you can then apply to whatever else you want to do. At least make sure that it's on the track to doing the right thing. Even with school, if you're in school and you really decide, you know what, this is not for me, number one, I'm not learning anything related to my major, and number two, I don't even think I want to pursue a master's or anything, I don't want to be a lawyer, a doctor, anything along those lines, then you really need to ask yourself, why am I even here? Now, listen, higher education, different story, but I think a lot of us really just need to ask ourselves sometimes, what am I doing here? What value am I getting out of this? And if there is absolutely no value besides very, very bare minimum of like attention, someone I could call on and go to lunch with, I get a paycheck, that's not good enough. At least for me, that's not good enough. Next is you're having to shrink yourself. So if you are not using your talents, or you feel like you can't speak up, or you feel like you can't really be yourself, or wear what you want to wear without somebody commenting something, and you have to dull yourself down in any environment, that means something needs to change. That means that needs to be burned to the ground, and that mentality of I need to shrink myself so that I am accepted into whatever group, that also needs to be burned. It doesn't just have to be physical things that are burned. You can burn beliefs, emotions, you can burn trauma that has just been holding you back and programming you to basically live your life from a state of trauma and survival, and we don't want to do that either. You have to shrink yourself for any reason whatsoever, you're in the wrong place. My next point is the person you were when you were just surviving is not the same person that's going to continue to evolve. So what I mean by that, and like I said before, is a lot of us operate our lives out of a state of trauma, and these trauma echoes. So we continue the same patterns, we continue to make the same decisions based out of survival mode. And a lot of us don't even realize that we're not in survival mode anymore. And I've had to have this conversation with myself of like, I'm not in 7th grade anymore. I'm not 17 anymore. I don't have to act like this. I don't have to think like this. And you really realize that everything in your life is connected. Even though time is continuing to move, we're continuing to grow physically, that doesn't necessarily mean that our emotional body is catching up to our physical reality. So a lot of us are operating in our childhood state. We're operating in our teenage state because we haven't been able to process those emotions. I mean, a great book for this is The Body Keeps Score. Talks about emotions that stay in the body, and I highly recommend anyone do trauma research. There's really no excuse. YouTube is free, research online, Google Scholar is free, you can just download a bunch of research articles, ChatGPT, even just Google in general. A lot of people on TikTok talk about trauma. Like, there's really no reason why you should not know a little bit about it. If not, you probably don't even realize that you're making a lot of these decisions from fear, from shame, from all of these low vibrational emotions that you picked up when you were way younger. Last but not least is you fantasize about walking away. And I don't mean you just have a little glimmer of like, oh, what would my life be like if I was a doctor? Or what would my life be like if I lived in Italy? Or what would my life be like if I was single still? Like, that's not what I mean. I mean, you are ruminating on the idea of walking away from something. You are thinking about your life without that thing. And I've even had to really check myself in certain relationships I had when I was younger and be like, I'm constantly thinking about my life. And when I think about my life, this person is nowhere in it. And that's a huge problem, especially when you're in a relationship with someone where, you know, they might want to get married and do certain things. Like, you really need to be brutally honest with yourself. And if you are constantly getting these visions about walking away from something, that is basically a sign from the universe. That is a sign from God that, hey, maybe this isn't just a vision. Maybe I'm showing you what your life is going to look like without this thing. Maybe I'm trying to guide you by giving you that vision, showing you that, yes, you can walk away from something. I have had future visions of myself, and then they've manifested, and I've been like, whoa, what the heck? And that's even, I mean, sometimes that deja vu feeling. It's 100% true. If you are getting visions and you are constantly thinking about leaving something, probably that is your body telling you that it is time to leave. Next, you're gonna want to burn with grace. trust that if it's God's will, it's going to be for you. Even if it's not for you right now, delay does not mean denial. Sometimes things have to fall apart for things to come back together, whether that's come back together stronger or come back together in a new way. Also have to have patience, you know. Things might be ripped out of your life very, very quickly, but you also have to give yourself the time to physically catch up with that loss, physically catch up with the burning, because sometimes it could be super overwhelming and super scary and terrifying, and those are all normal things. I think a lot of times people talk about change and reinvention as a way of like, it's so exciting and yay, I get to change my whole life. But at least if you're anything like me, a lot of times change is really brutal and it's really aggressive and it doesn't really feel like it's my choice, even though I know that sometimes it's for the best. A lot of times it's hard to see that it's actually for the best, especially with like breakups and stuff. You're so confused, you don't understand what just happened. You built a life and then it just got ripped away from you. I will totally admit to you guys, I am the queen of holding on to things way past their expiration date. Okay, I get the call and I don't even answer the call for like 2 years. All right, so I get it. It is not easy though, and I don't want this to be another one of these change reinvention videos that's like, oh my god, yay. Like, honestly, I think the root of this is that it is brutal. It is ruthless. And not only is God gonna be ruthless in these times, but you also have to be ruthless with yourself. You have to be brutally honest with yourself about what is working and what is not. A lot of times we look for validation. We have to look for truth in the situation, and we have to look for truth in our lives of what we're believing, our habits, who we're keeping around, what we're doing for income. Are we doing our passions? What hobbies we even have? Like, we have to really audit our entire lives to see what is aligned and what is not aligned. What is congruent with who I know I am, and what am I doing almost as a performance or because I was told that I have to. For certain things also, you need to set an end date. So for example, when I was leaving LA, I made it known to myself that I was going to quit once I got home. That is exactly what I did. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. It was like, this is the end date, and that's when it ended. And even certain habits, I'm like, okay, I'm done waking up at 12 p.m. I'm going to be waking up at 8 a.m. or I'm going to be waking up at 9 a.m. or I'm done, you know, eating french fries every single day. Pain. But I'm gonna start making sweet potatoes and it's gonna end now or it's gonna end tomorrow. And don't be one of these people. I'm one of these people, and I'm saying do not be one of these people that's like, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just do it tomorrow. Because that is the devil talking. Because the devil wants to keep you from who you're meant to be, and who you're meant to be always gets expressed through the small habits that you do. Lastly, this is just something fun, you don't have to do it, but I honestly personally like it, is I like to either write letters to myself, I like to write about a situation, I like to write letters to other people, and I burn it. I think something about visually seeing all of the energy you poured onto the paper and seeing it go up in flames, it just really sets something off in my soul where I feel cleansed. I feel like I just got all of that dead weight off of me and I just burned it physically in front of my eyes. And yeah, I always do that ritual. I always have my friends do it with me sometimes, because I just think even every single month you can do it. Like, it doesn't have to be when I'm changing my life. It's really like whenever. And I think with endings, it's so important. A lot of times things are left unsaid and there's so many emotions, just so refreshing to pour it out all over the page and just set fire to it and watch it burn, and watch this life that you created burn, and watch these emotions that are keeping you stuck burn, these habits burn, these beliefs burn, and just having it all happen physically in front of you. I just love it. Through this process, it's gonna feel like you are losing who you are, and like the life you built is just slipping through your fingers. And sometimes that's very depressing. And that's kind of how I was in my last video, is I was in the burning phase and I was so devastated. I knew it was the right thing, but I was still devastated. And that's what I think a lot of people lack when they're talking about stuff like this on the internet, is it's like, oh, I just broke up with him, screw him, blah, 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 I go find a new man. And it's like, no. There is so much grieving in saying goodbye to things that you really cared about. If you didn't care about it, then you wouldn't grieve it. And if you didn't love it, you wouldn't grieve it, and it wouldn't matter to you. But a lot of people have worked very hard to build lives for themselves. Those lives were built on a sandy foundation, and the whole entire house collapsed. We cannot build our houses out of straw. We learned that in the Three Little Pigs. You can't build a house out of straw. You can't build a house out of sticks, but you can build a house out of bricks. And that's what building a life that is aligned with you, that is congruent with who you truly are, and that has God in the center of it, is going to give to you. I would feel like I'm doing you guys a disservice not to credit how strong my faith has gotten as the reason for why I'm able to get through these things. And I'm not saying you have to believe what I believe. I'm not saying you have to be Christian or Catholic or Jewish or Hindu or Buddhist or whatever. You could be whatever you want. I really don't care. I think there's a strong moral code through each and every religion in a different way, and that's fine with me, okay? I do think that when you have a life that is aligned with you, it is impossible to rip that down. When you have a life that is aligned with God's will for you, which, by the way, because a lot of times I would argue with God, and I would be like, well, the life I want is not the life that you're telling me I should have, but I want what I want, and I don't want to be miserable because I'm going to be miserable in the life that you give me. I mean, I sound like a brat, but that's really how I was thinking at that time. It's God's will for you. It will be for you. There's nothing anybody can do. There's no amount of evil eye someone could give you to take that away from you. People can try to take it away from you, but they'll never fully take it away from you. And you need a solid foundation. And sometimes that looks like ripping down everything you've already built because it's not a strong foundation. You are not losing anything. You are just cleansing. You are cleansing the parts of you that no longer align. It's like when you go outside, if you stick your hands in dirt, you're not going to sit here and be like, the dirt is a part of me. No, we have to wash the dirt off. That's what the burning phase is. The burning phase is getting rid of everything that's sticky, gooey, and gross.
Sticky, gooey, and gross. We gotta get rid of it because it's destroying our lives. Do you even care? Do you? She's a Halloween decoration, a living, breathing Halloween decoration. Excuse me. Thank you.
Do not be scared of the burning. Trust that it is meant to happen. Trust that you are supported even if it does not feel like it. And trust that on the other side of this, you are going to come out so much better. This is just the part that honestly sucks. Actually, a lot of parts suck, but you know what? We get through it. God takes away, but he also restores tenfold. In every story of the Bible, at least that I have read this far, what is taken away is always restored. It's always better. It's always more aligned, and it's always more than we could ever imagine. It's okay to make the decision for yourself that this is not what you want anymore, this is not aligned with who you are, and burn that to the ground. Okay guys, well, thank you for coming to my Taylor Talk. Next week we're going to be talking about the waiting period because that is the next phase in this whole reinvention process. I give all of my love to you, to anyone who's going through the burning phase. Trust me, I am with you. It is rough. It is rough out here, but it feels so much better, and you're not going to miss anything that's not for you. Trust me, I would literally scream and cry and be like, I'm going to miss him so much. We don't. We really don't. These are my co-hosts. Okay, also, here is my book. This is my poetry and essay book. This is what it looks like. It's super beautiful and stunning and amazing. It's on Amazon. I'll link it below. So yeah, if you want to support me and read my book about transformation, about healing mental health, you know, everything's pretty like short, sweet, beautiful cover girl. So if you're not really big into reading, this is like the perfect thing to get you into reading. A lot of this is actually from my diary in high school, which is when I went through like most of my mental health problems. Actually, I've always had that. It's really just about the story of becoming in short little poems. So here you guys go, and I will see you guys next week for the next video.
Right? Say goodbye.